Hello again, everybody. This is Nathan James of The Nathan James Show. You're watching GBM TV. Here with me today is Delvon Johnson, head of the African American Literary Society and author of the acclaimed novel, Love Yourself First. Delvon, it's a pleasure to have you with us today.
I'm glad to be here with you, Nathan. How are you today?
I'm fine. Just recovering from Halloween a little bit, and wondering who's going to be the next governor of my state, Election Day. In the meantime, tell us a little bit more about your novel, Love Yourself First.
Well, Love Yourself First, as you said, it's an acclaimed novel that I wrote. It's 5 stars on Amazon. Wonderful novel. Please go out and get it. It's about 2 guys who start a fashion consulting firm, and they hire this woman. She's very fabulous. Her name is Joan. Joan is a shoe connoisseur, and she comes and kind of help them with the shoe aspect of their business. As the story goes on, Joan has her own agenda, and she comes into their company and starts basically, I want to say trying to take over it, but she has her own agenda in terms of making herself a success and using their company to do so. As a result, her career begins to rise and escalate, and good things begin to happen to her on the professional scene. But on her relationship scene with her fiance, things begin to dwindle. Her fiance begins to feel neglected because of her success with the company, and in turn, he ends up being on the DL. So we know how that goes. All kinds of drama begins to unravel from there. It is a sure page turner. Everyone loves it, and I'm glad to have been able to put out something this dynamic.
I think that's wonderful. Tell us a little bit more about how your travels have gone with this book. You've been to Atlanta Black Pride, Miami Sizzle, participated in the Fire Island Blackout Writers Panel, which you organized, and also the Literary Minds reception at Pop Burger in Manhattan a few weeks ago. Tell us a little bit about what traveling that book is like.
It's been exceptional. I go to these events pretty much for the enjoyment of them on a regular. So before Love Yourself First was even created, before I wrote it and all that, I was already traveling for the sheer enjoyment of these various events. However, by going out now this year, I did a lot of promotional travel for the book. I got to see these events from a whole different perspective. More from a business perspective. So it gave me the opportunity to go out to these events and meet people and tell them about Love Yourself First. It gave me the opportunity to display it, talk about it, sell it, and it was really neat. It's kind of a blessing to see how people look at you as an author versus how they would look at you as a regular participant of these events. Miami Sizzle was a huge success. I had a great time out there with all the Miami people, shaking and grooving to the music like everyone else, but also selling the book. It was my first time going to Atlanta Gay Pride ever, and that was phenomenal. So lots of books out there. I got the chance to meet J.L. King, the author of the DL book that he's written. He's a very great guy. And also the creating of the Fire Island Blackout event, which was a very big success. I think that's my biggest book sales I've done was at the Fire Island Blackout. I created it because it was I'd never been to Fire Island Blackout either. And I looked at their itinerary. I thought they didn't have anything that was relevant to the publishing of Black gay authors. So I contacted the CEO, and that's where we went from there, and you were involved with that as well. It was a great opportunity. Again, I got a lot of exposure from all these events. I got a lot of exposure and got the opportunity to meet lots of people and basically inform them about the success of my book, Love Yourself First.
Which is, I understand, being developed into a television series as well.
Yes, it is. My dream, of course, as any author's dream, I would say, would be for their books to be turned into a major television show or movie. The big question in the beginning was, which way was I going? Was it going to be a movie or a TV show? But I think that because of the way that the book was written and the characters that had such a strong presence, people would probably befriend them in their heads, as Wendy Williams would say. So we decided to go ahead with a series. The cast is fantastic, and I did my first actual filming shoot earlier this year. It was a phenomenal day with the makeup artists and the actors and the actresses and the models, and it was just a great day. I had to pinch myself and say, am I really producing this thing? Like, it's really happening. We're still working on it, of course, with filming and those type of projects. They cost a lot of money, and they can be very financially binding. So I kind of put the show a bit on the back burner for this time frame, so I can focus on the outcome of my books, which this book is actually going to be on shelves in Barnes & Nobles within the next couple of months, and also the release of the sequel to Love Yourself First, which is Be Careful What You Ask For.
Tell us what's going on in the sequel with the continued escapades of the characters we met in Love Yourself First.
Well, the White Knights, they continue with their company, and you of course have to read the first book to know all of what's going on. But Joan is still, in her, deceitful ways, so to speak. But she has a little bit of she's a little bit more reserved at this point because of all the drama that's taking place in Love Yourself First. We have new characters. When I started writing the second book, I wanted it to still be fresh. I wanted it to be new, but also wanted to revert back to some of the characters that she fell in love with in the first book. So with that, I started new characters in the book, and then I drew in the old characters by filling them in and associating them with the new one. While Love Yourself First was all about fabulosity and the diamonds and the posh living and being in Manhattan, the second book kind of comes from a different perspective, from a young girl that wants to be a model, and she starts off as a regular person, and then her career kind of goes to the top, and it kind of just shows you in detail how that happens and how her life changes, and all of our favorite other characters from the first book are in there, and it's really good. Everyone that loved yourself first, that loved Love Yourself First, is definitely bound to love Be Careful What You Ask For.
As part of your efforts to make getting published more accessible and improving the literary genre in which we all write, you've put together an organization called the African American Literary Society, which has an emphasis on mentoring and on encouraging aspiring young writers of color to come forth and be published. How is that coming along?
Well, Nathan, that's it's turning into something that I've always wanted to happen. When I first started writing, I had no which end of knowing what to do. I just kind of went with the flow, and went online and did research myself and just looked around and made my own mistakes and fell and got up and that sort of thing. And the African American Literary Society that I put together is basically going to be a stepping stone for African American authors, not just gay ones. I want to make that clear too, not just gay authors, but African American authors that are trying to find their way in the publishing industry, be it from marketing, be it how to get their manuscript out, be it to find out anything that's relevant to the publishing industry that they're not sure of, or how to go about getting something done. I want the African American Literary Society to be able to do. It's very important to me because there's so many people out here that make it, and then when we try to reach up to ask them for help, they don't want to help. They feel like it's a ladder that you have to climb, and once they get there, it's not their responsibility to bring the people up that are in need to get themselves to that next level. And I'm going through that. I've been through that, and I'm trying. I'm still going through that now. And I feel like when there's so many times now that I get a question from someone that wants to write, how'd you do it? And what was your motivation? How did you get the book on the market? So I'm able to tell them, okay, well, this is what you do. This is how you do it. And it's only knowledge, and knowledge is free. It's not something that one should have to pay for, or have to spend tons of money trying to get. If I'm able to provide them with the same information to make them the success that I've become.
I understand that you've become involved in business opportunities with J.O. King, author of The Down Low, recently appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Can you elaborate on that for us?
Sure. J.O. King is a great guy. He's terrific. So many people, just in passing from what I've learned while having met Mr. King, I've gotten so many, negative comments toward him and what have you. And I can't lie, when I first heard of him, I had those same notions. However, once I met him, I spoke to him on the phone several times prior to meeting him, and he's very forward and honest. I must say that. However, so am I. So we were okay, and then I got the opportunity to meet him, and he's an absolute phenomenal person.
In January, there's an upcoming event held by NASEM, an AIDS minority service organization, which is a leadership conference. And during the event in Brooklyn, we're going to be seeing a writers panel, kind of like a symposium of LGBT writers from the local community, which I understand you're helping to put together.
Yes. I received a phone call several weeks ago, and it was funny how this happened, because I got the phone call, and the medical director for this project was asking me about, he just wanted Harmonica Sunbeam's phone number. Basically, he wanted her to do the opening reception. So I gave him that information, and we began to talk about some of the other events that he wanted to get involved with, and he really didn't have a lot of input or information on how to get these things started. So with me being, in the New York area, and me knowing some of the outlets in which he needed, I volunteered and said, you can contact this person. I understand they're giving a mini ball, so I got the right, information for him for that. Maurice Jamal with Glow, he's joined the whole new network for the LGBT community. I said, maybe you might want to get him involved, because, he has the following right now, and maybe they might want to give a party, because basically it's HIV prevention is the entire subject of the conference. So I contacted Maurice and put him in contact with the medical director for NASEM, the New York chapter. Then I got him in contact with Harmonica, and then he asked me in turn if I might be interested in putting together a writers panel for NASEM, which I felt would be perfect for the African American Literary Society, because since I'm just starting out with it, I think NASEM would be a wonderful platform to use to get the African American Literary Society out there. And basically the title or the subject for the writers panel will be Black African American authors that are gay and written expression in today's new video age.
Delvon, tell us where your fans can find you.
Well, I'm found on Facebook. That's my favorite website to work on. I love Facebook. Also, you can find me on fiercehottopics.blogspot.com. That's my own personal blogspot, where I just go on and run my mouth about different things that are of relevance in today's society, and going on to celebrities and gay celebrities and all that good stuff.
Excellent. Delvon, it's been a privilege and a pleasure to have you on our show. For the Nathan James Show, I'm Nathan James, here with Delvon Johnson, author of Love Yourself First on GBN TV. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you soon.